All right, welcome back, my fellow agents. It is I, X7, your master of musical mayhem, which is good because today is Friday, which is our musical mayhem day. Sometimes 7 songs Friday, sometimes just a musical or something related to it. We could even do documentaries here, probably. But today, as you might guess, we are going to be looking at the Superman musical, the one that originated. Uh, um, oops, way back when in 1966. This is the television version that was aired first on ABC, late night ABC television, 1975. But before we get too much further into it, I neglected to put the episode number on here, which is 699. Tomorrow will be our 700th episode. We'll be celebrating in a spectacular way. Oh, yes. but and we're up to 841 subscribers, so thank you very much. I know that a lot of you are watching for the kittens, for the kitten and Kaida, but thank you anyway. So, having said all that, please like, share, subscribe, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this. Is it as bad as people say? Is it better than people say? You'll find out what I think about it because that is what we're doing here. And you know, it is what it is. But and the story of me not getting to see it in 1975. So, having said all that, up, and away!
We'll be right back for another exciting adventure with Superman.
All right, so this is taken from a VHS recording, and I think they've tried to upgrade it somewhat. The people who presented it, I looked for a better one. This is the one I've seen constantly, so it did come from the Internet Archive, which had several copies floating about, and I believe even the actual musical version is out there, which is longer, of course. This was aired of. Let's get over here so we can clickify. It's just titled Superman, as we see, but it is the official title is "It's a Bird, It's a Plane, It's Superman." And first, like I said, 1966 Broadway, which got positive reviews, and then aired on or was oh, what's the word I want to say? Opened on and off for the next several years. And the program for the show does not include the ellipses, but just titled Superman here on television. It was supposed to be it aired March or February 21st, 1975, late night ABC. I want to say that was a Friday or a Saturday because I stayed up to watch it. And something it was preempted for something else. ABC didn't have the celebrity roast, but it could have been sports ball or sports car or something awful. I was very upset. I mean, 1970, I wouldn't have been 10 years old yet. So yeah, the middle of the night in the winter, I was supposed to be seeing what I thought would be a slam bang Superman. I didn't know it was a musical at the time. I don't remember when I found that out. Much later. So looking back on it, I don't know what I would have thought of it, but this is the second time I've watched it all the way through. There's our villain, which is Max Menken, played by Kenneth Mars, who we have talked about, especially over on GD Explanations when we talked about Young Frankenstein. Played the where was he? In Police Inspector Hans Wilhelm Friedrich Kemp in Young Frankenstein the previous year. So he's got good comedy chops. The cast is quite good. We'll go through a lot of them here. That is Leslie Ann Warren, who is a fine singer. She, let's see, television musical. Let me look at her filmography here. if I've seen anything else. Victor, Victoria. No, doesn't look like I've seen many of them other than this. Twin Falls, Idaho. I've been there in Twin Falls, Idaho. Interesting. But she's worked steadily. Carol Burnett show as herself, the Lost episodes, Mod Squad. So she was on television, of course. Mission Impossible, main role in season 5. All right. Good singer. And that, of course, is the wonderful Loretta Swit, the late Loretta Swit, we all know, playing Hot Lips Houlihan from MASH, Margaret. She is the star of the show. She really, she's got the charisma. I don't know when MASH goes to, oh, well, I wanted to see who, when she was on MASH, but that just didn't. Let me click again. And 1972. So she was in the midst of her run. She probably did this in the off season. It was shot over 3 nights. So she's also got a great voice, incidentally. But she plays, incidentally, Leslie Ann Warren plays Lois Lane. Loretta Swit plays Sydney, who is the borough originated by Linda Lavin, who went on to play Alice in Alice, the television series. And then now we're coming up to our villain, reading the history of the Nobel Prize. That is David Wayne, who keen observers will realize was the Mad Hatter, Jervis Tetch, the only Batman villain from the comic books that got his proper name was used, not just the Mad Hatter. So I didn't know it was him until I did it. I clicked on it. And there is our Superman. They are deep into the Clark Kent is actually the costume for Superman, which I've never cared for because he wasn't raised as Superman. He was raised as Clark Kent. This young man is David Wilson. Interestingly enough, I went to a high school or school with a David Wilson. But he's good. He's good as Superman. His Clark Kent sounds like Theodore Cleaver, grown up, or Walter O'Reilly, the Gee Whiz. He's playing it really, really bookish. No, just really he's a schlemiel, Clark is, and I don't blame Lois for a change, not noticing him, but she's still Lois. They do the tired old gag of him having to wait to get into the phone booth to change, and it's got panels, everyone can see it. But he goes in, out comes Superman. He's got a good voice. He's got a really good voice too. They're all good singers, and he does a good Superman. There's just not enough Superman. It ran about 95 minutes, and some of it's quite funny. And we have the chapter 1. Of course, the narrator I have to tell you is the late great Gary Owens, and he's wonderful. So we do, but I don't know why they added these. Why not Lex Luthor? Why not Lana Lang? I don't get it. There were some decisions. I mean, a lot of the people who would have seen this in 66, they would have still known who Superman was and grown up with him. So maybe not read the comic books, but rocketed from the doomed planet Krypton to Earth in the good old USA, picked up by the Kents, Martha and Clark, or Martha. Geez, I'm drawing a blank. Martha and Jonathan Kent, though she might not have been Martha Kent at the time because both of the names were in flux for a while. But as far as we're concerned, and it contents one innocent babe. It's nice that the Kryptonians wrote that in English. So we do get cartoon illustrations that we're all familiar with. 66 would have been the same time that Filmation's cartoon was on the air, and that looks like it might have come from them. But they're just, laughing at his antics as a super baby. Then they die, and he goes off to Metropolis, faster than a speeding bullet, leaping a tall building. So very basic video effects here, but it was to be expected. Song and dance number. Let's get down to the musical numbers. There won't be a poll here because it just won't be. That's called We Need Him. That's the company. And, I'm assuming that they all sang it. Like I said, it took 3 nights. They recorded it over 3 nights, probably not in front of a live studio audience, I'd say. And so we get these throughout their chapter 2, Merchant of Doom, and the interstitials, so that you can just see where they are. There's the Daily Planet. There's Perry White and not Jimmy Olsen. I don't know who the schlub. Yeah, it is Jonathan and Martha Kent. That's where is cheerleader, citizen cheerleader, Gabby lady. Perry White's played by Alan London, and this is Newsroom Copy Boy. Why not Jimmy Olsen? Danny Goldman plays him. There's Clark, and there's Lois, who keeps saying, the running gag is she keeps saying, Clark, how long have you been here? And there is Sydney's in love with Max, and Max is a heel, really, a louse, a schmuck. He hates Superman because Superman's taking all his press. So he wants to destroy him. Lois breaks into song called, what is this one? It's Superman. They cut out like 3 or 4 songs and then added one, oddly enough, to it. More in the deserted warehouse where the gangs are. That is one in the play. In the play, it's the musical, the Broadway musical. They were Chinese Tong or gangsters. These are just regular gangsters. So let me see. That is Malachi Throne, who we will remember as False Face in the Batman TV show, and that is Al, one of the gangsters. Also Al. Where'd he go? Al Molinaro, who played Al on Happy Days, taking over for I don't remember, Arnold, who went on to go to California and teach Ralph Macchio karate. And the other guy we recognize, I think that's I don't know. So we'll go on from there. They have a number. That's the added number. Abner goes to he's setting up Superman, and he's charming. So, of course, he tells Lois what he wants to know. Lois is in danger, so another video effect for super hearing. Crashes through there. Now, that gentleman is Phil Leeds? Yes, I believe so. And you've seen him in many things. Yeah, he's kind of a character actor, was born for. Ghost, Rosemary's Boo Boo Baby, Ellen, he's been in tons of things. Suddenly Susan. So there's some more video effects, so that the death ray doesn't kill everyone that Abner set up to get. So while Superman's doing this, the Capitol building of Metropolis has exploded, but Superman's not there. We get Abner's song and dance about why he wants to destroy Superman and rule the world because he's never received his Nobel Peace Prize. So I guess you don't need a lab accident to turn into a supervillain, but you do need an advanced degree, Dr. Sheldon Cooper. Sedgwick's Revenge. And he meets up with Max. They form a partnership. Max is in love with Lois. We don't know why. Sydney tries to talk Lois out of it. They kind of bond over their love interests that don't pay much attention to them. The Net Titans. So these guys, they're pretty funny. They do a lot. They swipe a lot from the Stooges in this segment, and they do a good job. And now this is a running gag that went on a little too long about how you're going to destroy Superman. And so Sydney's tired of Max. She makes a play for Clark. And boy, does she make a play for Clark. And again, Loretta Swit is the star. She does it. She knows the fine line between playing it straight and being funny on purpose, when you're supposed to. And so again, she's the best part. She is the best actor there. Now, and once again, they're deciding that he's going to destroy Superman. The gangsters march in and want his help to destroy Superman because they're tired of getting pinched all the time. And now Lois suddenly falls in love with Superman, and Copy Boy gets yelled at again. Lois sings her song. It's not Suddenly Seymour, but it's close. It's very, very close. What I've always wanted, to be a housewife. That does not jibe with any Lois I've ever read or seen on any other show movie, television series, what have you. Lois has never expressed that, wanting to have a baby and be a housewife. So, wow. Lois of Earth Broadway. Perry yells, and they do call him Chief here, but he never says Great Caesar's ghost. And so the gangsters have a bomb, and they're going to blow up City Hall. So Superman's given an award at the college, Metropolis U, I guess, by Abner. And these two guys are the head of the Superman fan club. Now, their names are Joe and Jerry. So I don't know that they say Schuster, but that's what they're credited as in the in IMDb. Let's see. Stuart Getz is Jerry, and Michael Lembeck is Joe. I wonder if he's related to Hassan Lembeck, and his buddy Ned Limpopo from Brainania, the island of Brainania. Anyway, he looks at him like Shatner does on that Saturday Night Live skit where he tells the super nerd fans to get a life. Get a life, will you? I mean, really, I couldn't help it. So, and he pronounces it Metropolis. Metropolis. I was like, wait, what? I've never heard it called that before either. Metropolis. But maybe they did that as a funny thing. I don't know. Special news bulletin. That's Jeffrey Hone as Ray Clive talking to Max, badmouthing Superman because Max is an expert on City Halls blowing up. Where's Superman? No, I failed. And they boo him and turn on him right away, even though they know he's right there getting an award. And he'd rescued some Cub Scouts and gotten a dog out of a tree or something. Yeah, stay tuned for Chapter 9. Get lost, Superman. Supermax. Long before Supermax was a cartoon. And she tells him to get a life. It's like a little over the top there, but then she sings a very funny song. Do you love you? And it's very funny. They do sing. Sydney also sings a song to Clark earlier when she's seducing him, or that you've got possibilities, which is the one song that gets played a lot from this, and just done by itself. So while she's singing, Max gets clocked by the gangsters, the the big mob boss, big boss mob. I don't even know. And they bring him back here, and because Abner's computer says that Max is Superman, and he's like, "Would I be scared of you and your gun?" It's like, "No," and he says, "Oh, I forgot about Kent." The computer says it's forgot about Kent, but Kent must be Superman, and he says this line, and it wouldn't fly, no pun intended, these days, but he delivered it well. And just a little aside, and he's a heel, so he gets to make that, he's a schmuck. So it's curtains for Superman. Clark's having an identity crisis. His powers are gone because it's psychosomatic. Lois tells him so much. And yes, even a Superman can cry, which he sings, stealing right from Roy Thomas. Told you I was going to use that yesterday. These two schlubs have called Lois, and she's going to discover that Clark is Superman. Or that's their plan. See, there he's calling her. She shows up with a pot of soup and he's sucking his thumb. This is where it's just, eye rolling and just, fast forward. Then you can see that I was trying to fast forward through it, even though that's a glitch from the tape. I just kept it in there for old time's sake, because if you remember that, you're of a certain vintage. He's using his X-ray vision because it still works. And then he sees that she's got bones, and he gets grossed out. This Superman is, not very super. The gangsters come in, and he won't do it, and they kidnap Lois. They'll give her back. He's going to kill himself by throwing him off I don't know what bridge that is, but he's going to kill himself. So I don't remember it's not the Brooklyn Bridge, but the the Calvin Coolidge Bridge, maybe. It's named after some president. It doesn't work because he's got super lungs. Abner's making a hot toddy because that's what supervillains do. Everyone shows up. Lois is waiting for Superman. They turn on Max because they don't need him anymore, and they set a bomb to go off once he sneezes. and then they put a block of ice under his feet so he'll get cold and sneeze, catch a cold or something. And once that happens, the gangsters turn on Abner. They give him an award, tie him up. Superman realizes he won't die by drowning because super lungs. So Jerry and Joe show up and tell him that he says, I'm a freak. And he's like, we know, we don't care. You have to be you. That gives him his powers back. It was the 70s. The music was updated, according to Wikipedia. I've not seen or heard the original score, but it's a pretty cracking good musical score overall, really. So here we have the burst in scene and a fight scene in the last like 10 minutes of the show. There's a pretty well choreographed fight scene. Extra gangsters, they're zooming around, they're punching out. Nobody got hurt as far as I could tell. And he did all his own stunts because I don't think he could, he's singing. So you have to do your own. So these stuntmen put him over bigly. And of course, the song is called, let me get back up here, which, once again, the Batman influence it's called Bam Pow Zonk. And you get the flying thing, the word balloons popping out because he hits them so hard. The words form out of the air. Double zonk. And he's like, I'm Superman. And he rescues Lois. He leaves Abner and the gangsters and Max all tied there. Flies off with him. He gives Max a sip of the hot toddy so he won't be so cold, but then it makes him hiccup. The bomb goes off. He's like, oh, well, I can probably catch him with my open hand in time to save them. And now we're back at the Daily Planet. Max is reformed. He loves Sydney. And we get to know why. See, he's even got, that looks like Walter O'Reilly. Really, that's Radar right there, the look. He sounds like Beaver, but he looks like Walter. He looks like Radar. And also, Abner's been reformed, and he's writing the science column, and the explosion gave him amnesia. Now, if this was a comic book, in about 2 years, their amnesia would fade, and they'd remember that Clark is Superman. But, this is a one-shot. Earlier, Sydney had said, Clark and I realized we're not right for each other, probably one of the cut numbers. But Lois is now back in love with Superman because he saved her, and she's a flighty girl. And something bad is happening, and they all get up and say, this looks like a job for... Clark's chair is spinning, and he's gone. They are dumb. And that's the end. So up and away. It's Superman. We get some more credits. And it's, I don't hate it. I was unhappy I did not get to see it, in that, first time period when I wanted to, when I was 10. I don't know what I'd have thought. It's very similar it's a comedy. It's a musical. So one fight scene, we're lucky. It's a good fight scene. The actors are all good, but they're given some poor material to work with. And, just some of the writing choices question me. Maybe they only bought the rights to the superhero and good guys, the three characters, Batman, Superman, Lois, and Perry, because nobody else is in there but them. Oh, and Martha and Jonathan. So there's 5 characters they didn't want to pay for the rights to Luthor, but, did they have to pay the rights to villains? But I liked it. I'll give it a B. I'll give it a C+. It's undone by the script a bit, and the direction is fine. Songs are good. So, my fellow agents, until our next assignment, when we will be watching for episode 700, Hercules and the Captive Women, this is X7, signing off and fading out. Phasing out, not fading at all. Be seeing you.